friends, what a day, what a day, what a day. Congratulations. I know some people made a lot of money today, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk, let's gossip, let's chit chat, let's have some fun here. Pinkies up, let's go. So obviously Big Bear had a great day today, and you could feel something going on here. And the situation what Big Bear brought to the table, it was looking a little scarce there, but we got to this place here in Big Bear today where it was trying to push in this $4 range, and we were like at $3.94, $3.95. You could tell it felt like a bomb about to go off. I even texted a buddy around I think 11. I was like, dude, I think something's about to happen here. And then sure enough, boom, we just catapulted into a $4 20, went to 30 and some change. So good day with Big Bear. If you were buying in before that, you just had a great little push. I'm sure a lot of you sold, made some money, or you're getting closer to your bags where you're at right now. So we're so close. We are so close to Big Bear finally hitting some new range here that we haven't had since February. And I think obviously that there's a wall right now at 450. There's an even bigger wall at 480. I do think it can be broke. Now, obviously, when we look at Big Bear since, April here, May specifically, watching the new build-up being done here, April, we started to see first phase of the build-up, in this, and I've talked about this, so you got 1, 2, 3. 3, obviously, we're still playing around this 3 stepping stone that we're at right now, around this 350 to anywhere, we're past 350, probably like 380 to 420. That's kind of that's the teeter-totter situation we're going through right now. I do believe that we are in the 4th build right now. So even if you look at when we had this number 2 jump here, the purple number 2. So if you're looking there, and right under the 2, that dip right there, that white arrow I've got, you can see there was 2 spikes in that huge dip right there until we got to the next staircase, number 3 there. So we somewhat are repeating history here, what's going on. So we definitely could be in a situation where Big Bear it's looking for this new position, where it's looking for 450, looking for 480. Who knows, it could just slide into $5 here sooner than later. Now, obviously, this is a complete organic push by investors. There's no real news going on. There's no real nothing. Honestly, there's more bad news circulating out there right now with Big Bear than there is good news from the stock offering, the nonstop articles that are coming out right now, especially right now with the whole lawsuit situation that's been going on. It's pretty much, it's dead in the water. It's wrapping up here next week. So it should be dust in the wind after next week, and it should not be coming back up. Right now, Big Bear, I do think this is either a situation where investors are just pushing the gas before we go into gear here. There's definitely something, I can feel the throttle being pushed here, where it's trying to get into higher ground here. But, this is a situation, as Big Bear has been really, really making a lot of people a lot of money. If you've been in these dips and these highs, this has been a crazy 2 months of just trading in and out of the stock and watching it build back up into this $4 to $5 range. When everyone can afford it too. This is a very affordable stock right now for everyone. So that's the short-term position of what we're looking at right now with Big Bear. Just a great day. It's such a great day too with it, because it's just such an indication that investors are still very much into Big Bear. So if you think Big Bear is not being looked at right now, you're looking at the wrong place, because Big Bear almost went to 440 today, and that's really amazing. This morning you could have bought this stock at 378, and then you could have sold it today at 437 at its highest at 1:10 p.m. So that is a crazy profit range right there, and I know some people hit it because they told me. Just amazing. And this has been the situation with Big Bear. These past 2 months have been really since we've had the collapse here in April and watching this build back up into the end of April, into May, now we're in June, we're definitely getting, a lot of stocks are building back up here, but especially Big Bear is building this very nice staircase into, hopefully, we're hoping $5 here. $4, we're pretty much in there. We're in $4. But right now, I think a lot of us, if we can get to $5, it'd be incredible. Obviously, and I get this comment a lot, and I've addressed it. And, this is going to be, the line in the sand with a lot of people. One side says, Big Bear highly undervalued. Other side says Big Bear has a lot of problems, and it needs to do more to prove itself to a large group of investors. I totally agree with both of those sides, just to sit on the fence, if you will, to sit on the line. But that's why I have a YouTube channel, because I got a big mouth and I'll talk about it. So this side over here says Big Bear completely undervalued. It's going to be the next Palantir. It's going places. It's a very credible company right now. They're going places. There's a lot to agree right there. I totally get, and obviously I'm sounding like a broken record if you've been here listening to me yap about this. But obviously I think generally right now Big Bear is undervalued. I think, to me, that's a safe comment. Okay, because there are other stocks right now that I talk about, even, that are not even making what Big Bear is making quarterly wise. That's the thing, and they are like a $10, $12 stock on a good day. There's plenty of stocks like that, but there's just more hype. There's more, comfortability around them right now. Big Bear is in this position where, it's doing better quarterly. It's making decent money. But it's had a rough 2 years. Obviously, it's under new leadership, and I would safely say Big Bear's undervalued. Big Bear, honestly, I do think that once this lawsuit wraps up, Big Bear comfortably could sit around $5 to $6 just off the expectation of what could happen here. And listen, Big Bear's had a very good last 6 months. I mean, there's a reason why we're all here and talking to each other. It's because Big Bear has captured these government contracts. That's the only reason, and that's okay. That's that's good. That's why we're all here paying attention. Like, are they going to get more? Are they going to get more deals off those government contracts? Are the government contracts going to attract other companies? Maybe, and that's kind of the conversation too with Palantir, because if you were there with Palantir, 2.5 years ago, Palantir started to get these government contracts. Well, off those government contracts, it attracted other companies, the aroma of what was happening. Listen, I'm not, right now, I would say that Big Bear is not the next Palantir as of right now, when we're talking financially, when we're talking about where Palantir is right now. Listen, there's only one Palantir, okay? And thank God for that, because, if you're in it, you're in it. When you got in it, and there's still room to be in it, I'm going to yap about it here in a minute. But, Big Bear too, I don't say that to sound mean towards Big Bear. Listen, I'm drinking the juice on Big Bear. I'm here talking about it. I'm putting my neck out there for it. But obviously, Big Bear, it's got a little bit more of a mess it needs to clean up here. They got debt. They need more deals. They need more deals. They need more deals, and they need more deals stat. Okay. And two, I do think that we'll hear more. I'm hoping that we'll hear more from Kevin, the new CEO, once this lawsuit deal situation is wrapped up. I think he's been kind of in the shadows here because of the situation going on, I would imagine. So I'm hoping he comes out and says something. And two, the situation, like I said, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it all needs. It's a straight line right now that I think a lot. If you're in Big Bear, you need to know, okay, because it's gonna be good and bad for you. And the situation is that what we know is that comfortably we can say that Big Bear is in this defense category with the Trump administration, with the government, all that, whatever you want to say. So they're already in the pocket, okay? Now, with all this huge spending defense deal that is about to take place, about to take place, and that, we're very early into, the Trump administration, so I'm sure we're talking 4 years here, baby. There's going to be a lot more coming. So with that, with this huge spending defense bill, and this is what Trump does. He did this first term. He's doing it again. Okay, good, great, fine. We're going to push into that as investors. So Big Bear here could be more, it could be in the pocket more where it's getting more defense deals. Maybe it's going to be part of the Golden Dome deal situation. There's going to be a lot of tentacles coming off that project. So I think like I'm like a lot of us, I'm very curious to see where Big Bear is going to go here. And obviously, when I talk about $5, I know there's a group of people go like, $5, dude, this stock's going to $10 to $20, $30 here by the end of the year. Listen, that's great. That is the fairy tale story. I want that too. Okay. But right now, I can come on here and lie to you if that's what you want. I can lie all day. But I don't want to do that. I want to bring the double-edged sword, and I don't want to lie to people. I really don't. I want to be honest with you. And obviously, I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope Big Bear does go back to $10. I honest to God do, because it'll make a lot of people a lot of money, and I want to see everyone do well in the market. But we have to go with the evidence that is before us. Now, can I say that Big Bear is going to $5 to $6 here maybe sooner than we think? Sure. Yeah, possibly. I don't think that's too kooky to say, okay? There's obviously a huge push into Big Bear. And two, Big Bear could just out of the blue any day here say, hey, we got a new contract. Maybe it's just a contract for a measly $20 million over 2.5 years. That still would be phenomenal for them, okay? And obviously, I say a measly $20 million because $20 million in the grand scheme of things, when we talk about AI deals, that's peanuts. So next week, the lawsuit deal situation is wrapping up here, so we'll be done with that. So short term, I think we're going to continue to do well here, okay? But two, Big Bear's making people a lot of money right now. It's making people a lot of money with these big dips. Listen, if we get into if this fourth run happens here, if this fourth staircase takes place here, we're still not in it. We still have not seen the fourth staircase. The fourth staircase that should be built here, I think, is going to be around the 460, 480 mark. That is the next big staircase. Now, is that going to happen tomorrow? We'll see. But two, yesterday we had some sell-off. I expected it. And two, if you look at where the sell-off is on this third staircase, that last bit of red right there, look where that last little bit of red goes right to the second staircase of the last sell-off there. Very, very similar where we're going here. So you could say that what we've seen here is the last little, that was the big sell. That was the big sell. That 370 high 70 position we saw today, that was it. That was the last sell before the big push here. I'm hoping here this is what we're seeing. So if we can get a fourth run here, this is going to be the big one to get to some chiseling out some new land here. It would be very positive for the stock. And it may take this lawsuit deal just ending. It may just take that. So friends, listen, I'm very excited about Big Bear. Big Bear's been doing good for a lot of us. I think it's going to continue to keep doing well for a lot of us, and I'm very skeptical that Big Bear could just say any day, hey, we just got another deal. And, like I said, a measly, just little bitty deal would just be great. Just throw some more coal on the fire, keep the place warm here. I think that's what a lot of us are just at least asking for at this point. Palantir, let's talk about Palantir real quick, and then I'll shut up. Palantir right now is obviously in this just complete zone of, it's looking for 140, looking for 150. Obviously my super duper map here that I have made and you guys know about, we're looking for somewhere 150. Are we going to find it? Is the summer going to bring 150? Maybe. Obviously, man, so many deals, so many situations happening right now with Palantir. The one that happened last week, Trump came out and said, hey, we're going to use Palantir for the government. Palantir is already working for the government. I think that we're going to see sooner or later Palantir is going to start pushing, as long as the market can support the weight of what's going on right now with a lot of these stocks. Palantir is going to push into a 135. Once we get in the third 135, that's the crosshairs. Okay, now we're going to start chipping away going into 140 sooner than we think. So right now you've got this zone that Palantir is playing around this 125 to 132. We're seeing a wall at 132, but once that wall gets broke, we're going to be in new ground. So like I said, 135, I think probably is coming here sooner than we think. But we could easily trail back down to 125 to push up into higher ground here later on. The question obviously is, where will Palantir stop growing? What we've seen in the past year, let's go 360 days here with Palantir. Okay, Palantir has obviously been growing 40% off of each quarterly with stock price. Okay, you're buying for the futures of it. You're buying for Q3, Q4 at this point for what it could be here. They have not even produced $1 billion quarterly at this point. Now, obviously, that could change here sooner than we think. What more than likely is going to continue to happen is what's been happening, is that Palantir is going to, every time we see major sell-off, we're going to see major buy back in. We're going to see a little sell, buy. Little sell, bigger buy. Maybe a big sell, bigger buy back in here. And this is what is going to push into quarterly number 2 here with Palantir. That undoubtedly will have another banging quarterly, because that NATO deal, that wasn't even on Q1 of this year. So they should once again execute quarterlies very well here. So this is why, when I say the summer of this year, we got June, we're in summer, June, July, we'll count August, that Palantir could be at 150. I don't think it's that crazy. I really, listen, we've seen Palantir go from 70 to 100 like that. It was just $100 like a moment ago, and now we're at $130, and we're kind of holding it at this point. So Palantir long term, I don't think anyone's arguing. There's people arguing. Trust me, I find them. They find me. Listen, right now, Palantir is not showing any pushback. It's just open tunnels. It's running. Okay, it's a wild horse at this point. Until there's pushback, there's not going to be pushback in the stock. Okay, it's complete opposite. Listen, sometimes the grass is just greener on the other side with some stocks, and you could say that about there's plenty of companies through the history of Wall Street that have just made their own Roman road. They've completely broke all the rules. There's people that go along with it, and then there's people that go, well, no, it's just too expensive. Listen, people were saying this about Apple decades ago. They were saying this about Microsoft. They were saying this about, I remember just a handful of years ago, people were saying this about NVIDIA. NVIDIA will never release a $20 billion quarterly. Have you lost your mind? Well, now they're about to release the $50 billion quarterly. So, I don't know what to say to you. Sometimes things just work. It's okay to invest in that. It's okay to go with the hype. It's okay to go with the crowd. Sometimes it'll make you a lot of money. Okay? And that's okay. What are we doing in the stock market? We're making money. The market is ruthless. You're going to have to be ruthless at some points too. So friends, I think both these stocks are leaving huge opportunity for people still, even at this phase. And yeah, friends, I'm excited. You should be excited. I will talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.